Hi everyone, my name is Lauren and this is Scorpionic Readings, and for today's pick a card topic we are doing general messages for the collective, messages you need to hear right now. So there are 3 piles for today's reading. Let's go ahead and show these cards up close. So pile number 1, your crystal is the koala and your card is Forget Me Not. Pile number 2, your crystal is the fish, and your card is Jewel of the Sea. And pile number 3, your crystal is the serpent, and your card is the Tattoo Fairy. Okay, so take all the time you need to choose your pile or piles. Whenever you are ready, you can head to the description to find the timestamp that will take you directly to your messages, and I will meet you there. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and jump right into the messages to find out what it is you need to hear right now, what messages are trying to come through for you. So we're going to start with Oracle and use one tarot deck for all of your messages. So let's get one card here for pile 1. And from this deck as well, we'll do a lot of the shuffling now so we can get rolling with the messages. One card here for pile number 1. Perfect. And a couple of these oracle cards and keywords for pile number 1 to understand their situation. Let's get one more. Perfect. Let's reveal these before we jump into tarot. So your first messages, we have divination with take a breath, take it twice. Insightful reflections are guided by light. And we have free will, sovereignty, independence, and free spirit. Awesome. Just gonna go like this. Perfect. And these messages, you have birth and authority. I feel like, I'll say first, I was looking a lot at the numbers with these cards that were coming out and seeing if there's any connections there, and I was thinking about this number 14, and we have cards 10 and 4 here, which create 14, so I'm feeling like these are kind of pulling out aspects of this divination card specifically, so we're going to go ahead, continue with the reading and see if that comes together. Let's pull out tarot right away. Let's clarify these messages. Some ideas are coming out. Let's get more information as we have no idea what we're getting into with this topic. These are general messages, so I need all the information I can get here for the collective. Okay. There we go. We're going to go with those. So you have the Knight of Swords, 6 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, and we'll do one more before we pause, the Empress. Okay, let's take a look here for pile number 1, these general messages that they should hear right now. So it seems like with these messages, authority and birth tying into the divination card is speaking of taking your time, taking a step back, and those realizations coming within that space of taking a step back and allowing the guidance to come in rather than seeking it out. Authority and birth, it's like a new journey, a new phase, a rebirth is bringing a lot of a sense of control over your life at this time, or soon here you're going to be able to step into, yes, greater free will, greater control of your life. Independence, that's what I'm thinking of. And forget me not, I wonder if you're kind of distancing yourself from things you had going on before and taking a step away from that in a more dramatic way. I see that with the Six of Swords as well, the Knight of Swords. It's both speaking of movement happening. So I feel like forget-me-not, you're kind of distancing yourself from past as you're going into a rebirth, and knowing that there is enough ahead for you with the being guided by the light. Once you take that step back to allow it to come in, you know that there are things ahead of you, but it's also, you recognize that with birth comes the death of other things. But it is a very needed independence and free will in your life, and it will be very freeing. We see that you are freeing yourself with the movement of the swords from the past. The Queen of Pentacles, wherever you land, you're going to tend to it well. You're going to be fulfilled in that space, and it is going to be a space that reflects exactly what it took to get you there. It will reflect each step that it took to build that will be reflected in that. The authority will be so apparent that you hold over your life at this point. The Queen of Pentacles and the Empress can give me like similar energy, so it's making me think of like withstanding judgment as well, withstanding challenges we see with the Five of Swords, or like competition. And on either side is going to be, they're going to be sharing a similar aspect, which is a nurturing quality, which is a quality of building up abundance, building something with a methodical process to it, and knowing that the outcome is better with time. So on either side of influence coming in of, you should be doing this quicker, you should be reaching these achievements faster, or other people are doing the same thing, you should make sure that they are not going to impact your journey. That is like irrelevant, because we see surrounded by both of that is your abundance. And it is the fact that you are on a set path that is going to carry through. It's almost Queen of Pentacles and the Empress kind of feel like, yeah, like something that has been started that is going to see it all the way through. We're going to see it through, the outcome for you. So whatever you have going on, you could be worried about if it is going to have longevity. And we see the longevity, we see the promising foundation that is being built for it. Forget-me-not. And part of what makes it promising, I feel like, is the fact that you are not completely separating yourself. We do see the free will and the independence coming in, and the authority over your life coming in, but I feel like you are not, there is some element of the past you that contributes, or maybe you have been wondering if you should tie in any elements of what you've been through before, or if you should just make it a complete clean slate. Forget-me-not is, I think that you should remember those things that you are wondering if they are relevant to your current. There are things that you should absolutely let go and clear out, but I think that there are things worth holding on to, and I kind of see that with the birth and the home with Cancer, with the 4th house. So holding on to those aspects that made you, even if you don't resonate with them or directly associate with them anymore. If they're people, if they're experiences, if it's judgments you've had toward you or different perceptions you have carried throughout your life, there is some value in that, but it doesn't mean that you have to like still exist within that energy. There's a way to tie in what you have learned through your experience and build something great with it. It's the imagery of the pregnancy and the birth, as well as the Empress. It signifies longevity, something's being conceived and carrying out all the way. And the thing that is conceived is equal parts of two aspects of like DNA and whatnot. So it's like you're bringing in the past, forget-me-not, you're bringing in yourself, but also it is rebirthed with so much newness within it, so many new elements within it as well. So let's see, where should we carry this reading next? If these are the energies you're resonating with, then what would you want to know next about this situation? I want to know what it is you could be looking to do? What is this thing that you are showing up as a rebirthed version of yourself, but you are still carrying some necessary elements through? And I started shuffling this again, so I'm going to take these two, but I do have the pile I already shuffled out, so let's take from that next. We have the Ten of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the King of Wands, Seven of Cups, and the Tower. It feels like the Ten of Pentacles is kind of what I'm describing. It's like you've earned something for yourself, but then the Ten of Pentacles signifies the ability to have a legacy going down, to have that trickle down generationally with inheritance, and being so abundant in that aspect that it's also bleeding into other things, which we talked about with this new thing would entail elements of the past and the new you going forward. The rebirthed version is going to be some parts of both, some ratio of both, which I think the new is going to be a greater ratio, but we see that there is still some of the old that is beneficial to be included within that. This could be a choice to it's really a choice about choosing yourself. This is a choice about bringing down limiting beliefs based on what blockages you had experienced growing up in your past, in your childhood, and knowing that it's like a generational change, like stopping a generational cycle, that kind of thing. Like you could be going to school for the first time. It could be a situation like that. The first person in your family to be able to go get a higher education, or have the privilege to start somewhere new. And it was something you hadn't really, the Seven of Cups, it almost feels like something has happened, and the Tower, something has happened recently that is bringing you a lot of insight. There are still things that are not revealed, but I feel like something recently has made you realize that there are decisions to be made that rely on what you want only and not other influences. It's like you're presented with options for the first time, and it's a lot to take in because you have never had the abundance of opportunity, potential, possibilities that you can work with going forward. And my eye gets drawn to the Castle in here, so I really was thinking of you have the ability to start a home from the ground up and build from scratch, or you're living in a different space that you never thought you would, a different location. And the first thing I see within these options is the Castle, is the home life. And we talked about home life with the 4th house of Cancer, representing home life in general. So I think that you are changing things up. Something came crumbling down, and it was almost a blessing in disguise, because it is stressful. I feel like you're kind of hit with all these options and solutions all at once, which is good in itself, but it is a lot. It's like the idea of if you did give birth to a child, and you have all these loved ones coming forward to bring you what you need, to make you meals and whatnot, it's like the abundance of all of that coming in at once is almost overwhelming, because you have to then now I low-key have to schedule these people and do work to get them to bring me what's needed at different times. I don't know, it's not inherently bad or stressful, but it is just takes a little bit of thinking. Yeah, with the King of Wands, a little bit of organization, thinking, as well as tapping into what you really want, truly what you desire, in order to pick what you want to go with first, what you want to prioritize, which I think is going to be laying down your roots. The Tower, laying down new roots after something comes crumbling down. And the Authority, it's you have the choice to do this. And there's a lot with the crystal ball, with divination and the High Priestess. There's a lot about your desire is going to be the first one that is considered. Forget-me-not, it's the childlike want, like what do you really, really want? And that is what you should prioritize. You have the free will to do this, and it might be overwhelming, but it is inherently good for you and not super stressful, I don't think. Let's go ahead and continue with messages. Is pile number 1 going to be rebuilding? Here we have Judgment. We have the 2 of Swords, the Star, the 9 of Pentacles, and Death. So we have death and rebirth now, death and birth rather, so the full cycle, that kind of tying in. There's something about choices here too. We have 2 of Swords, which can be about an unseen choice. The High Priestess can be about an unseen outcome as well. And then the Death card is like guarding 2 options. And I have to say 1 and 3 is 4, comes to 4 in numerology. And then we have 4 here as well. And for some reason, it's just making me think that the right way to go is to your home, to what will make you happy. The 9 of Pentacles, what will really be fulfilling to you, because that is the door that is illuminated, that is kind of being pointed toward with the Sword. So your decision, typically this would be the image of the woman sitting here with the blindfold and holding 2 swords. And here we have this card pointing you in the right direction, which I just feel is prioritizing yourself. Forget me not, don't forget yourself, your child self, and what you would really want, and prioritize that first, because the Star, it's like it is already known what would make you happy. It is already known like what choice you should pick from a greater perspective, from the universe, like your plan, your divine plan. It is already known, and I think there is a lot of confidence that you are going to be able to make the decision that will be truly the best for you. I don't think it's really a hard decision. I think it's quite obvious which one would actually make you happy. The Judgment call, I think you understand a lot about yourself in this time, or you will be. You're kind of entering into that phase, transitioning into it, to a lot of free-spirited energy, free will, independence, because you know yourself. Someone isn't independent if they don't know themselves, or if they're at least not trying to discover themselves. And that is your moment with the Judgment card. You are at the right place now to conceive this new journey. And it really could be like something that's been happening for like 9 months, or if you really are building a home, taking 9 months for that to like be perfected, or you really enjoy that longer stretch of time that you have to, like the 6 of Swords, it's a peaceful time to just retreat to your place and work on it to make it really the best atmosphere. It's like the Judgment card is putting out like these musical vibrations into the space that they're entering, and like cleansing your space, putting out good intention into it, and it will be something that will make you really happy and be very fulfilling for you. Even if it doesn't look like it is necessarily for you, it is going to be a perfect fit. Can we know when this is happening for pile number 1, or more information for them in the Chariot card? I think it's happening quickly, that you're going to make like it might feel like a last minute judgment call. But again, I think that it's going to be quite obvious which way, like this glaring white sign saying that way is standing out to me, and it's the same direction as the glowing door as well. And Chariot in general is like quick. Queen of Cups, when is this happening? And she's pregnant in this Queen of Cups as well. She typically is not. And I think it is happening soon, or I think that the way you know it is happening soon is when you hear about other people trying to contribute and weigh in on the decision. If there are people like coming in like, don't forget me, don't forget what I care about, what my opinion is, that is almost like your sign of okay, now I know where I'm at. Now I know I'm at the place where it is time to make the decision for me. When I have people coming in and telling me what to do and telling me what would make them happy or what they think would make me happy, that's when you know it's go time to make the choice that will make you happy. And the Fool, it will be a totally new start, a new journey. You'll be stepping out into bliss, into like oblivion in the best way. And there's so much about like not quite knowing all of the abundance that is in store for you, because we haven't even addressed the fact that you had like multiple options at one point for good things to implement in your life or to change up or to do. So I feel like there's a lot more to discover that is going to come out for you. Let me go ahead and pull this final card off the top if there are more messages. The Emperor, you're going to be in control. These strategies, these new ideas, opportunities will present themselves to you when it is time. And I think that there will be, the Fool to the Emperor is not so long within the journey of the major arcana of tarot. So I think that you'll be reaching another point where it is time to make another decision, to bring something good in, to strategize, to set yourself up for more independence, more free will in your life, and more abundance is going to come pretty quickly after what we have discussed. When you make that first decision that is going to be very good for you, 0 to 4. And the 4 again is really, really confirmation of this being all about you, all about your home, making your space, laying down your roots and foundations in the spot that is not affected by what other people think, but is still pleasing your inner child, is still pleasing some part of you that had always been striving for that free will, for that independence that you now have achieved in this time, in this state, in this body. Yeah. Okay, I think those are your general messages. I hope you got what you needed out of those messages, but let's go ahead and pull your final guidance for how to navigate this best. We have distinctive potential. Rely on your faith and the knowledge that nothing is impossible. Use your determination to hang in there until you realize a goal. Wow. That's really what it is. Distinctive potential. Like, there is so much within the Seven of Cups card that is giving me that idea, is so much potential, and use your determination to hang in there until you realize a goal. You talked about the timing of things needing to get settled before the next one arrives as an opportunity. So taking it one by one until you realize that next goal, and it will be quite obvious what feels right to go with next. Divination with High Priestess, I think that you could have a good intuition as well, so you are able to follow the music to your path. So very promising messages for you guys, pile number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please take the time to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I always leave a pinned comment to start a conversation, and of course I always contribute. So definitely check that out and add your response there. I would love to see that. I also offer personalized readings that is linked in my description as well. And I have a second YouTube channel called Scorpionic World. That is linked in the description as well if you want to see more of me in front of the camera, sharing my story, vlogging, educating, all of those kinds of things. So with all of that being said, pile 1, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and get right into the messages. So we're going to shuffle out a bunch of cards to start so that we can understand what this topic is even going to be about, because it is a general message. I will be finding out as you do. I'm going to take this one here. So what pile 2 needs to hear right now, a general message for the collective here. Let's get one card from this deck for pile number 2, what they need to hear most right now. Perfect. And final oracle deck, messages for pile number 2. Bring that back in, continue to shuffle. What does pile 2 need to hear right now? See this one and that one. Perfect. We're gonna get a big chunk of tarot again, so we can just get rolling right with the messages when it's time to go. Okay, any more messages right now for pile number 2? Let's start with that. All right. So your first messages, pile number 2 that you need to hear right now, we have transmission with spreading of conditions, influence, and impact. That's really interesting with the, I'll mention if it becomes relevant, but coming of winter, it comes in lullabies deep within your mirrored flesh. Alas, it is time to lay your quivering chest upon the winter's coming. It's so interesting, like conditions coming through, like rough winter conditions. I was thinking of impact, influence on like environmentalism. I'm thinking of like the sea and impact on that. And then I'm thinking of the weather's impact and rough conditions there. It's interesting how it's tying together so far. We have impulsiveness and escape. And then card number 1. I noticed card number 11 here, and then followed by number 12. So let's get into tarot to clarify what I'm thinking of so far. Page of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, King of Swords, and the 4 of Pentacles, and we'll pause right there. Okay. So there's something about having to endure rough conditions, like being the jewel of the sea, being outstanding in a condition that is not meant for you, that is limiting to you, that is, you have a big influence on this because of how you are separate from it. The way that you stand out in it is obvious. Mirrored flesh is coming through in this card, and just like newness coming in and impulsivity with Aries, and you're making a decision to escape impulsively, but also following the flow. It comes naturally. It's not so much impulsive, but it could feel that way to start. But it is a necessary escape because something is like impending here. Something is pending, even like an agreement, a contract, an application. You're impulsively submitting something that is pending, and it will lead you to an escape, or you are sensing something is changing, a transmission, like you're sensing something coming in or changing up the energies. You feel the coming of winter, and there is a decision to leave that feels impulsive, but when you are able to look back at the end of like that cycle coming through, you realize that the escape was you following what was needed. You are like, it's the water elements coming through as well. We have Pisces and then Jewel of the Sea. It's kind of like you are the Jewel of the Sea in that you have that element of intuition that led you to this decision to make an escape that proves to be what you needed, because those conditions were only spreading at this point. They were only going to continue impacting you. Perhaps you had not noticed how they were kind of transmitting their energies to you and spreading to you and reaching you at this point. And it really is like in the nick of time, you kind of escape that before it really takes over. It could be you escaping from a community, a home life situation that was not in alignment with who you are, was not in agreement with that, and you're escaping from that before you were influenced by that. You could have like grown up in a household where beliefs were put upon you that perhaps were like negative toward other people, and that was something that you look back and you see how narrowly you escaped being overtaken by that. But it was never a threat of you actually really submitting to these negative energies or opinions, being influenced by them, because you were always going to be the jewel of the sea. You were always going to be like the outlier. That's what I'm thinking of. You stood out, you had an influence. I don't know what kind of influence it was. Maybe it was one that was irritating because of differences that they saw in you. But regardless, you were always the jewel of the sea, and you were always meant to diverge from that path. And once you do, so much more can be transmitted through you and relayed out into the world. Like, your communication improves. You are picking up new skills. With the Page of Pentacles, you are embarking on new pathways that are unfamiliar but promising. You're excited about them. The Five of Cups. It's almost like there's a newness to the experience of setbacks or failures. Maybe you felt like it was impulsive because you look back and you're like, well, they could have at least helped me with this. They could have at least given me this support, like physical resources, material wealth. They could have helped me in that way. Or maybe it was like they could have helped you win or get to the top, but you almost felt like that would have been like cheating, or you wouldn't have been fulfilled with the effect or the outcome because you would have attributed it to a like shady start almost, like. And so it's almost like you are inexperienced in moving through these normal kind of setbacks. Not inexperienced, but it is like it's just new to you with the Five of Cups there, to not be able to ring up a certain person and have them come fix it. Like, that is kind of out of the option, out of the question. And it doesn't mean that you are not going to be able to succeed without all of this. We see you escaping. We see the entire journey play out from 1 to 12. It makes me think of a full cycle. And the Ten of Pentacles, I see success obviously within that card. Great success. That is the goal. With the Pentacles card, you get to the 10 and you have all the abundance you could need to pass down all of that. And the King of Swords is like making the decision of how they want to rebuild, of how they want that to actually look. Maybe it doesn't look conventional like it does on the card. There's some decisions to be made here. There's a journey. There are setbacks that are nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, but they are there, and they are transmitting to your energy, but you are also leaving a mark on that as well. There's a lot of like passing through and leaving an influence, leaving an impact, getting out of a situation just in time, one that you were always meant to. Clearly you were limited by it, and the setbacks are confusing at times, or you're not sure what to do. You don't always feel like you have someone to go to get advice or help, but this is going to pull the best out of you. It's going to pull the ability to make those decisions and have that determination yourself. Not that you've never had it before, but it is just going to take, even like taking steps backward or choosing something that feels like a step back can be the right decision. That's what I see with the King of Swords to the Four of Pentacles. It's like, even if something feels like you're not moving forward, you're always moving somewhere. There is someone saying, like, now I'm seeing the spiral on this, and I was thinking of like flowing through water and how you're like never quite like moving in one direction. You're just kind of going all around, if that makes sense. Like floating all around, obviously, but someone was saying like an image of you moving in a spiral upwards, and as you spiral up, you're going up, you're elevating, you're progressing. But when you go a certain way on the spiral, you think you're going backward, and then you think you're going forward. You're never going one way but up. It's never going to be, I'm going backward, I'm going to be delayed. out of what was planned, out of what was meant to be a delay. Like, it's never going to step out of those boundaries. You're going to at least be confined to a certain level of that spiral, and you're never going to go outside those boundaries and feel like you're going so far back that it actually is affecting your journey. You're going to be confined in a nice path. It's kind of like, it's not like easy to navigate, but it's almost like you are being given a trial run. With coming of winter, this is like a trial, and then there's going to be a lot more for you in store. Let's see. Let's pull out more of the tarot. What is going to be next after this? The Ace of Cups. So something new again with relating to emotional fulfillment. The Four of Swords also feels like a form of emotional fulfillment with the rest and recovery it brings. The World. The Two of Swords. And the Nine of Swords. So it looks like the next thing you will be brought is, of course, we talked about the emotional fulfillment, like a fresh start even. Something in alignment with you, with the cup energy. We spoke of water energy being pretty significant, which is Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. And when you're in touch with, with the World card, when you're in touch with the things that feel like they are very closely related to you, like the conditions that you thrive in, which is the sea, the jewel of the sea, the water aspects, doing things that are for you, that make you happy, that give you peace of mind, that is big, that are fulfilling only to you. That is when you feel like you're winning, when you're going up, when you're not going backward, when you're in contact with the water, with the things that relate to you most significantly. The things that transmit through you easily. That's kind of what it is with all the energies passing through, the conditions that easily spread to you with the waves coming, gravitating toward her. That is what makes you happy on this journey. That is when you feel like you're going forward. But when it's time to make decisions, I think that's when you get more stuck, or that's when you feel like you're going backwards, is when another decision presents itself to you. That's when you feel that impending doom again. But look at it's like the spiral almost with the bullseye, and we see hitting the mark. Staying confined within that, you're always, even if you feel like you are being called to make a detrimental decision, that if you make the wrong one, it's going to screw things up totally, it's always, again, going to be confined within the space that is built, the environment that is supportive of you winning and getting to the ultimate goal. I'm seeing like the light through the window, that's always going to be relevant. The moving back toward the light, moving back toward the horizon is always going to be where you return. And again, it's all like perception. It's a struggle to feel, it's not an abnormal thing that you would struggle with this, but it is harder to feel like you're going backwards, to feel like there's new, I just closed that chapter, I just finished that situation, laid that to rest, and now I can't catch a break. What is this though about not feeling like they can catch a break? What does it really mean when they're pausing or going backward or feel like they are? Okay, let's start with those. What does that mean for pile number 2? What should they understand about why it's all happening this way? The Emperor, it's all planned. It is all in a strategic timing. The Lovers, it is harmonious. It is where you were supposed to be. And I'm seeing the spiral going upward again. And the spiral that is commanded at this time with the Strength card. Wow. It's all to teach you the strength. It is to build that muscle, to build that muscle memory of how to do this time and time again until you're able to, at first, you have support. you never don't have support, but it shows up in a less equal way. It's like you have more of the power as you learn and grow. There are times where you are called to make a decision, and the decision in itself is to actually just make one and not be impulsive. The Emperor, when you demonstrate that you can make these decisions, you can face it head on, it's almost like it doesn't even matter which one you choose because it's all mapped out. It is all leading you to the right path. It's not one decision I see coming through. It's just like little day-by-day things where you feel like things are going one way and then something comes into the mix where you're like, why? It was all settled, like everything was good, and now you feel like things are being shaken up again. But the support is there, and then there is the growth with strength where, again, we see you commanding the energy. And I almost want to say it's even tighter of a spiral upwards. You have to travel up a certain amount. And the analogy I heard was also that the spiral starts, of course, thinner and more confined. You feel like you're more funneled into the right spaces, into the right choices. It was an idea coming through of like, this is like an easy round for you, in a sense. Your circle, the boundaries are confined, they're tighter. I'm also seeing this tower that is very cylindrical in the back, and then as you get the experience, as you make several rounds, as you get the practice and learn how to strategize, you learn how to face everything head on, then I think there's a moment where it's even here too where it expands. You see how the tornado here spirals upwards pretty thin and then it just explodes and expands. And that's the analogy of the spiral getting even bigger and bigger. So I don't want to say like you have another storm coming, but it's like, I think that there might be longer experiences of feeling like you're going backward in your future. But again, it's still confined. It is still you going in the right direction. It's just the feeling. It's not a setback. It's preparation. It's pause with Four of Swords, with rest. The coming of winter gives me that idea too, because that can feel like a very long, like impending doom time of you feel the weather shifting and changing. You'll be able to recognize it better too in the future as well, so that it is less scary or you feel less shocked or surprised. You are more prepared. With the coming of winter, you have the signs that you recognize when something is on the horizon. Let's pull out your final messages. We have the Eight of Swords. What is this message about feeling confined? And the Nine of Wands as well. And High Priestess, as well as the Three of Swords. Wow. I love that, how it's the same imagery except the person is gone. The bed is empty. They have gone somewhere. They've taken a sword with them. They've taken the broom. They've taken everything they need. And they've left what is no longer needed, like written in stone. Your past can be left and it will be returned to. The Nine of Wands. It just feels like you have, the conditions are right in this time for you to be in a period of strong growth. And the Nine of Wands, I feel like you could feel like you've been battling something for a long time, but the High Priestess makes me feel like something is on the horizon to switch up very soon here. It kind of is like the Three of Swords. The message behind that is like a heartbreak or something disappointing to you. And so that has left, the disappointment, the going backward, and it's taken something with it. On each cycle, there is something to take when you feel like you're going back as well. There is something to take with that forward. And so I have this imagery of the imaginary person who is in this card taking that fourth sword. Now there's only three, taking it with them. and quickly arriving to bring you out of the situations that feel negative, that feel like you're going backward. It just takes the knowing, the belief, the faith that you will always be brought out of a situation, you will always escape the situation, and that you'll be able to ride out the storm with the coming of winter and be totally fine, if not better, on the other hand. And the Eight of Wands is exactly that, is riding out the storm. It's actually crazy how much is coming through with the twisters. Yeah, that's really wild. Pile 1, I wanted to mention something about a tornado as well, but I was like, you know what, I just watched that Twisters movie, so I was like, I don't know if that was just like bringing in from that, but for you, it's like, wow, it just showed up twice. But look at you, maybe you're not feeling that confident when you're commanding it, but you're doing it. So continue what you're doing, just hang in there. Let's get your final message for your guidance, because again, it's like not one specific thing or situations, events I see coming through. It's kind of just learning what your cycle is meant to look like and becoming familiar with the pattern so that you recognize when change is on the horizon. The coming of winter, you recognize that. So what is your best guidance for this? Get back on task with be sure you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you are working on. All could use some fine tuning. I think that's what the message is about. It's about growth. It's about fine tuning. It's about being able to handle it better each time around, and you will grow so much through this process, through the recognition of the pattern, and it will become so familiar, like the changing of seasons. It will be easily recognizable. It will not be as discouraging. Yeah, everything will be okay in this situation, pile 2. So I hope you enjoyed these messages. Please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I offer personalized readings as well. I will link that in the description of this video. I also have a second channel called Scorpionic World. I will link that in the description as well. You will see more content of me in front of the camera, doing vlogs, story times, educating, that kind of thing. So check that out if you're interested at all and subscribe there. But with all of that being said, pile number 2, I hope you enjoyed these messages. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hi there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead and get right into your general messages. We're going to go ahead and shuffle out all of the cards basically to start, because this is a collective general message. So I will be kind of finding out what the topic is as you guys are as well. So I will need more messages to kind of get going. So let's go ahead and do all the shuffling now. Ooh. Alright, from this oracle deck, and then we'll shuffle out a good chunk of tarot. So about 2 cards for pile number 3 here, general messages they need to hear right now. And let's get some tarot to explain the energies as well as questions we have coming up to elaborate on the situation. That chunk wanted to stay out, so I am going to take it as well as those, and we'll start there. Okay, so let's see here. Your first message is pile number 3 that you need to hear. We have All Hallows Eve with call upon the voices that stir your senses through the night. Cast an unforgiven howl as you stomp your might through the ground. And you have witness with to know, personal evidence, and to speak out. Wow, that's really like strong energy coming through so far between these 3 cards. Wow, that's really interesting. And I really love this card. I love what it says. It's very like, I don't know, it's really cool. Okay, and then we have these 2 cards. We have choice and seduction. Okay. And let's pull out a row of tarot to start. So we have Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, Five of Pentacles, and Queen of Pentacles. Very good. So I have to say the energies coming through from this card is really what solidified it to me of how strong the message is in this one of like standing your ground, stomp your might through the ground. It's very powerful what it is calling you to do, to uplift your voice, to tune in your senses, to stir up what has been going on, and to cast it away through a strong action, through a strong declaration, a strong refusal. It's a strong choice in general. Weighing out, wow, it's really cool how it is Libra here with choice, and then we have witness, like weighing the evidence. It really is bringing in that dynamic of like law almost. Some of you were part of an injustice was done toward you, and this is your story speaking out about it. You have evidence for a wrongdoing, and it might not even be something as dramatic as that, as bringing it to the law, but it's like you are finally going to be able to declare your story, have your name cleared in this situation. The Tattoo Fairy makes me feel like there's a lot that has been written on you, a lot that has been put on you in terms of what your role was here. Seduction, it kind of makes me think of, I don't know, being blamed for something that happened to you when it clearly was not your fault, never could have been. That kind of makes me a little emotional if it's, I don't know, a certain thing, but Four of Cups. Choice and seduction, the Four of Cups. Let's take a look. Let's take a step back up here. We have a lot of page energy, a lot of, I thought of a new page being turned over. Moving forward, not looking back, even if it is hard. I think, again, there's a lot that will stick with you, a lot that has been imprinted on you, that is written on you. I think that some of you feel like you show signs of what you've been through in one way or another. And turning a new page with the Page of Wands and Pentacles, and they really kind of look like the same person. They have the same tights on. Same in the Ace. They kind of have the same outfit almost within these three cards, or at least that's what I'm seeing in this reading. And it's newness as well with the Ace energy coming through. So you're going to be moving forward, even if you leave without feeling like justice was done. If you were like wrongly fired or let go from a job, or wrongly had to like put in a place of scarcity, something was taken away from you and you were put in a vulnerable spot, like your lease was ended early, I don't know, something like that, you were declined housing, something that feels like a big loss, but I think that you were pushing forward and triumphing through. Is that a word? That sounded weird. You're going through it very strongly. Queen of Pentacles lets me know that there will be an outcome that is a fresh start, that is then nurtured to a lot of fulfillment for you. Like Four of Cups, I think you could be wanting, you're not sure what you want. I wanted to mention something like your fulfilling space is almost like when you hear about a celebrity that just like disappears off the face of the earth and they've just decided to go live like a quiet, slow, more isolated life. It's kind of like you not knowing that that is kind of what you need, that that is where you should head, or at least that is where you should start. So the Four of Cups, you could have other options and you wonder why you are not satisfied with the choices presented to you, because I think they are good options in themselves, like for the generic person, but it's not appropriate at this time for you to take on that much or make that big of a step to start. It's going to be baby steps, it's going to be a process, and finding a place that you can call home and that you can rest at is going to be the best way to start that journey. Find a new place, like running into someone new with open arms is a thing I'm hearing too of. The place you find could be a person for some of you, and that isn't, it might not be obvious or it might not seem like the right choice for you, but for some of you that is relevant. So let's think about, where is pile 3 going? When they stand their ground, what is this going to be doing for them? How is it helping them? The 5 of Cups, the 10 of Swords. You're dissatisfied with the options, and so it's an ending of that even being an option, and we're presented with new ideas that are more clear to you but still unsure. The 3 of Swords and the 8 of Cups. You're definitely moving along from a situation that was heartbreaking. You're moving along from a complete end, like destruction, really feeling like you were brought down by something, and moving forward without, again, not knowing at first what is going to be the best move, but all you know is to just start moving. That's what I'm seeing with 8 of Cups. So presently or in your very near future, this is confirmation for you that you are going to at least start just taking steps. You're going to make a choice. And that is going to be what kicks off the journey. So let's see what comes after that choice to move along here for pile 3. 6 of Pentacles, very good. 9 of Cups, very good as well. And Temperance. Wow, the Ace of Pentacles. I'll pull out one more. And that is an incredible spread for what is next. 6 of Pentacles, I see generosity. I see the things coming in that you need at the right time. Yeah, a person coming in to accept you, the perfect opportunity for a new place to live coming in, or just a perfect way to duck out of a situation, to escape a situation, to move along, and almost like instantly being rewarded for that. Like once you make the choice to start moving forward, you will find that it is leading you right into the next step. You don't have to travel long before you arrive to that next jumping point, and it's really taking it step by step, I think. 9 of Cups, your happiness and your emotional fulfillment will be prioritized, and this time you will be doing a lot of healing through meditation, through therapy, through meeting new people to share your shared experience with, to speak about it with them. You'll do a lot of healing, and this time you could be getting an emotional support animal. You could even be going, like actually arriving at like a coastal town almost. We see like the water. It's almost like you are like a nomad at this point. Like, are you traveling in your car? You have like an RV type situation or a minivan. Some of you I see like road tripping and maybe not knowing where you're going, or at least knowing people in the place that you're headed toward and finding out what happens next when you get there. And the generosity could be, I said something about being accepted with open arms. If you decide to road trip to go somewhere new that you know, at least there are people I know who live here, I think you could coincidentally like run into them, your situation is understood, and they offer you something to help you. Whether it's something you take or not, whether it's something you need or not, it's at least you know that there are people coming through to help you, that believe you, that have a lot of faith in you, that are wanting to support you, which is unfamiliar for some of you. So at least having that and recognizing it is really powerful, even if you don't need to or don't want to take up their actual offer. It could be like, you can spend a lot of time at my home, you can do whatever you need, like whatever it is. I can we can carpool. I don't know what it is, but balance too is temperance card is tying into like the balance, the healing I'm seeing there. You're sorting out a lot of things. I feel like some of you could be like moving back home, and it could be like not too thrilling, but it is going to be a time that is needed, and that you are supported in just kind of existing and moving through something recent or that has been weighing on you, moving along from that situation, getting your bearings again. And Ace of Pentacles, I think that will lead you to a new opportunity, and look how that jumps to the Nine of Pentacles. I mean, that is amazing, because new opportunity is being shown as a money opportunity, a abundant opportunity, and the Nine of Pentacles is the abundance that is built for you, that makes you very happy, very comfortable, very satisfied, inspired, all of that. It makes you your best version. And I think it is very deserved. I think there is a place waiting for you that is very comfortable. The atmosphere is very like tailored to you, is going to be a perfect environment to heal. It could be like a specific facility that welcomes you. I'm not sure, with like, yeah, somewhere with good views, a lot of nature, the Eight of Pentacles. You're given an opportunity to take a step back, to perfect a skill, to learn new things and practice them, and figure out how you can make that skill into one that will make money. The Wheel of Fortune, I feel like you will be given those opportunities, that inspiration that will help you figure out how to do this, how to turn something you learn into a money opportunity. Even what people offer you could be like a mentorship type thing, an apprenticeship where you are learning from them, learning how to make money the way they do. And that is your opportunity. The wheel turning in your favor to give you a job, to give you a new source of income, to give you new skills, all of new home, whatever it is, to set you up for success. Let's see. I want to get like messages of advice and guidance here, because your message is going kind of quickly, and I think that covers kind of what we can expect. So I want to know, in addition to the final guidance card I will pull at the very end, I want to get some guidance and advice from the tarot. So we have the Knight of Pentacles and we have the Emperor. Recognition is key, and once you recognize an opportunity that has been proven by who you're learning it from to be one that can set you up for great success, once you recognize that, you will be able to figure out how to strategize to make it work for you in the future. And so what is the guidance here? Let's start with these. And I pulled from the bottom to top, we'll go with that. We have Justice, Seven of Wands, the Devil, and Queen of Swords. Guidance for this phase of life, for this situation that pile 3 needs to hear about now. Wow, and we have Justice with the scales, with Libra, the scales, and law is actually written on her book. It's really interesting. So some of you, that was very relevant, what I was mentioning. And what is the guidance though? I think it's like Seven of Wands. You really, it's like some of you were accused of something. Again, the blame was put on you. Look at all of this cornering her and pointing at her as the culprit, whatever it is. Justice, I think your guidance, even if you cannot receive the validation from who you really want it from, the apology, whatever it is, I think it's really important to define what happened your way and not accept any other alternative. Like, if there's any inkling of you actually believing what they say about you, there's a note here to shut that down. The Devil, it's like tempting for you to lean toward, well, maybe I was wrong, maybe I did this wrong. But no, the Queen of Swords is going to stand her ground. You know that just write the story that is true for you going forward. That is going to be your message. Write your story that is true for you. Stand your ground on that. It is like written in the stars. It's written in stone. Rather, like, it's permanent. It happened, and it happened your way, and there is no need going forward to consider other voices weighing in. Queen of Swords, I see you with your emotional support animal, and, you know, you're not going to take it the way you once did. I think you're going to stand your ground better, or at least just not be affected. And that's all you need, is to know deep down they thought they did something by making that comment, but I know that it rolls off my shoulders at this point. Or at least that is the intention, and that is all that matters to start out. It does take practice. We see a lot of that with Eight of Pentacles, with rebuilding. So just do your best. As long as you continue telling yourself the story that is authentic to you, you will at least start to believe it going forward. So let's pull your final guidance. Pile number 3, we have the gift of neutrality. Balance is at work in your life. Yin and yang are opposites in energy, but reside side by side to create the gift of neutrality. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm just like shook by the scales, like neutrality with the scales, like them evening out. It's like no longer putting up a fight, like no longer allowing the road rage to like get to you, no longer allowing yourself to get frustrated by it, and you know, like, I'm gonna type back a response and argue with this person on Facebook, like whatever it is. It's like neutrality about everything. Even if there are people saying one thing, keep following the story you built, and it will not affect you as much. It will become, even just the recognition of it, the acceptance of it, by like reliving it, by recalling it as well. The more you do that, the more that you become familiar with it, the more that it will become neutral in your life and not have as much weight on you, not affect you going forward. You will be much lighter going forward because the call that you made is final. Like, you made the judgment call and it was in your favor, and then it will become more neutral and you'll be able to move on from it entirely. So pile 3, I wish you the best of luck in navigating through this. I have a lot of faith in you to do this. I know that you are so strong based on what has come up in these energies, so I hope you were resonating with this. I hope it gave you the guidance you needed. But please do, if you enjoyed your messages, take the time to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. If you are interested in a personalized reading, I offer that through Etsy in the description of this video. I also have linked my second channel, which is called Scorpionic World. That is linked in the description if you want to see more of me in front of the camera, sharing story times, advice, educating, doing some vlogs here and there. So if you're interested in any of that, please do go to the description and check out my second channel and subscribe there too. But with all of that being said, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading.